Back here at Tracy Sellers Field, and Texas Tech has one generational arm in the circle, and Nigeri Kennedy, her second season here in Lubbock, helping this program reach historic heights. You see 22 wins on the season, a 1.24 ERA. She's had less work, less mileage on that arm this season. She's had the help of Caitlin Terry throughout this season, but Nigeri Kennedy is one player that you do not want to miss, a certified superstar in the game of college softball. As we take a look at the starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. We saw Mackenzie Pickens go yard yesterday for the Rebels, but as we mentioned in the open, Maddie George, one of those top freshman of the year candidates, has taken college softball by storm with her home run power. This Ole Miss team coming in 35-24 this season. We mentioned their debut in the Women's College World Series under sixth-year head coach Jamie Traxel. Kennedy Bunker stepping up to the plate to start things off for the Rebels. And the prevailing theme we continue to hear throughout college softball, a number of players making moves. Kennedy Bunker, part of a transfer class that sends that one opposite field and over the wall. How about a way to start off the ball game for the Ole Miss Rebels? Getting a blast off of Nigeri Kennedy, the 12th home run this season for Kennedy Bunker.
12th home run for Bunker and the 14th home run that Nigeri Kennedy has given up this season. What a statement from Ole Miss. We mentioned the fact that this is a team that's playing their hottest softball right now. Seeing the ball well at the plate, cleaning things up defensively in the circle. And that's a pitch, screwball, that was breaking away from Bunker and handles it. Hits it exactly where it's thrown, opposite field shot.
We mentioned the home run power of this Ole Miss club this season. They had 67 in 2025, and now they've bumped their total to 82 as a team, and it helps give them a 1-0 advantage very early in this game. Mackenzie Pickens sent a solo shot out yesterday. She was 2 for 3 in that win over Boston University. Pickens, the sophomore out of Flowery Branch, Georgia, putting together a very solid sophomore campaign as she settled in very quickly into the SEC a season ago. And this one put into play, the opposite field, base hit into right. And 2 for 2 to start off this game for the Ole Miss batters.
It feels like Ole Miss just came with a game plan. I mean, completely zoned in on what they were going to see from Nigeri Kennedy. There's no tentative swings right now. Everything feels very decisive at the plate. No chase, hard contact.
Percy Yamas sees that one in for strike one. Yamas in her freshman season looked great for Ole Miss. But right now, trailing in the count 0-2 as Kennedy trying to answer back and settle in here after giving up back-to-back hits. And Yamas drives this one into right. Terry couldn't handle it. It's a base hit for Percy Yamas. So 3 for 3 as Ole Miss rolling early on here.
Think about the pitch setup there. She goes hard away from Yamas for strike one. Changeup inside for strike two. She goes back to the breaking ball away. And Yamas is early. She pulls this outside screwball. Little bit of up ball spin on this, and no play made by Caitlin Terry in right field. And I'm going to tell you right now, it feels like Ole Miss just has the foot on the gas.
We saw Terry get the win yesterday in the circle. Nigeri Kennedy, part of that 1-2 punches. A quick visit from Tara Archibald, the associate head coach with the battery here. Remember, Kennedy and this Red Raider team trying to wipe out the disappointment from that Big 12 championship loss to Arizona State. It was Kennedy who didn't come out with the win. She gave up 1 earned run, 5 hits, and 9 Ks in 6 innings of work. And here's Maddie George. George, who we mentioned, program record for home runs in a single season with 22. Folks, she's hit 12 long balls in her last 16 games. She was taking a big home run cut there. And as that one zipped by her, 73 miles per hour. George hits this one skying into left field. Underneath it is Logan Holloman, and the first batter retired. So Nigeri Kennedy now ready to face off against Cassie Reisner. Reisner, who was 0 for 4 yesterday. Hey everybody, and welcome into Lubbock, Texas. Aaron Miller-Thiessen, Tiffany Green here with you. Just saw Nigeri Kennedy pump that in for strike 2 against Cassie Reisner, as the Ole Miss Rebels opening up this ball game with some home run power, but the answer back from Kennedy, her first K of this ball game. When you think about the superstars in the sport of softball this season, they are shining bright, but among them, Nigeri Kennedy, a 2-time All-American. You saw the rank splash there in Division I softball. She has helped to turn this program around, helping to take the Red Raiders all the way to the national championship, just 1 game short of winning it all.
Contested early here by Ole Miss. The leadoff home run from Kennedy Bunker. 2 back-to-back base hits from the 2 and 3 hole. Starting to see her pepper in the off-speed more, mid-60s. This was the leadoff. Kennedy Bunker from the left side. This is only the 5th home run off of a lefty bat that Kennedy has given up all year. The 14th bomb in total. All this coming from the upper quadrant of the strike zone. We had talked to her and coming into this weekend, just what has evolved in her senior year. This is definitely a flamethrower, living in those low to mid 70s, really heavily relied on a rise ball throughout her career, and she said she's paired that with focusing on the drop ball this season.
And getting back-to-back strikeouts, and what a way to respond for Nigeri Kennedy. But it was Ole Miss who struck on the scoreboard first. You talk about the long ball. Bunker and the Rebels have loved it this season. They notch a run. Red Raiders coming up to bat when we return. Maya Davis leading things off for this crew. And an outstanding leadoff batter she has been throughout her career. And if she gets on the base paths, watch out, because she's got a ton of speed. Outside for ball 2 from Emily Boyer. The second team all Big 12 selection, hitting .438 this season. And just one of those consistent players anywhere that Jerry Glasgow has been. Maya Davis has produced out in front of that one. Count even now at 2 apiece.
Off-speed piece there from Boyer. Pairs nicely with her drop ball. This is definitely an arm that hammers low in the zone.
The 2-2, and Boyer gets the strikeout. So sits down the leadoff batter for the Red Raiders.
This is the MO. Down ball spin. This is even a ball that's elevated, chest high, kind of a miss on the outer corner. But everything falls off the table. And I think the key right now is, one, she's got to keep the ball in the yard, giving up 28 home runs through 163 innings this year. And has to limit the walks. 89 walks given up. This has been an Achilles heel for Ole Miss all season long, over 234 walks as a staff. You have to give up a hit every now and then, but if you can limit the free passes, you limit the damage.
And Caitlin Terry sees that in for a strike. Terry, who began her career at UCLA and has added a lot of pop in the bat for this Texas Tech lineup to go along with a nice complimentary arm in the circle for Kennedy. But right now, she and the fans here at Tracy Sellers Field not pleased with the 1-2 count.
Not happy with those two changeup calls, that's for sure.
Garrett Knowles behind the plate as this one lifted into the outfield, and quickly 2 down for the Red Raiders. Well, Boyer out of Harrisonburg, South Dakota. We mentioned the transfer from West Texas A&M, a D2 program where she was a 3-time All-American. And getting off to a quick start is what Jamie Traxel wants to see from her senior arm. Jackie Liss now at the plate. And again, you're trying to judge the strike zone.
Saw a little bit of this yesterday. Some inconsistencies, especially low in the zone. Chatting with Emily Boyer, you mentioned the transfer coming over from West Texas A&M Division II and stepping into SEC play. You know, what was the toughest thing about this transition? She said it is facing some of the best bats in the nation, especially through SEC play. Had to learn how to locate, especially in tough counts and tough back against the wall situations. This is a very challenging environment that's forced her to elevate her game.
And you can see the confidence with which she's walking into this Lubbock Regional, facing off against a national seed in Texas Tech. And full count now to Jackie Liss, who awaits the pitch. Liss fouls it off.
And the admission, too, from Boyer that she's having to trust her defense more. This is a drop ball arm that is meant to induce ground ball outs. We talked about the struggle with the free passes, the 89 walks. She's got to continue to trust the defenders behind her.
One close. Instead, the walk awarded to Jackie Liss.
Already seeing a little bit of polarization behind the plate on both sides, offense and defense. I don't know where this missed, Tiffany. It may be low, but too close to take. I'm not leaving that in the hands of an umpire, and that one does not fall in the favor of Emily Boyer.
And we will talk consistently just about free passes and how it can continue to affect you as it has done for the Rebels this season. So now you have a runner on base, 2 out, and Jazzy Burns, a very dangerous bat in this lineup for Texas Tech.
I like the call here from Bunker just to go out and have a word. You mentioned the walks, right? I think that one a little bit unfortunate in the sense that I think that was a strike, but these numbers are glaring. This is a team that is 20-5 when they allow 2 walks or less. In all other cases, 15-19, less than 500 on the year when they walk over 2 batters. This is definitely an area that they have had to clean up, especially late in the year.
That's an interesting storyline that we will follow throughout this game, because it has been the difference between wins and losses for this Ole Miss team this season.
100%. And the support, I think, that Emily Boyer is going to need from the other arms. We saw Lily Witten yesterday in the circle do a nice job late in the game for Ole Miss.
Jazzy Burns, who came off a 2-hit performance, was 2 for 3 yesterday with an RBI single, 54 in total in her first season with the Red Raiders. That was an area that we were all trying to get an idea behind the plate. Garrett Knowles looking over to see if Jazzy Burns...
And looking for the check swing. Yeah. I think this needs to be called. This is an off-speed that catches the outer half of the plate.
Right now, a very tight strike zone, and this driven into center field for the loud out to end the first inning. Runner left on base, a Ole Miss 1-0 lead, going to 2.
That UCLA game was wild. That was up till the wee hours of the night, seeing that one through.
Well, credit California Baptist and their first NCAA tournament appearance and how huge that was for them. Push one of the most storied programs. They've won the most national championships to the brink. Timmy Grisham leading things off here in the top of the second. As 7, 8, 9 due up for the Rebels. Right back at you, the Nigeria Kennedy feels the position well, snags it out, 1 down.
It's got to feel good. Quickly get the first out of this inning after giving up a solo home run to start this game. Hot shot back to the circle, and she gloves it immediately. So nonchalant, you know.
The senior out of Topeka, Kansas. Co-Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. And she's ahead in the count 0-1 to Ryan Starr. This one on the ground to Mia Williams, fields it cleanly at second base, and 2 away. Don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals. We'll take you to the best live action on the 7 Innings Live show on the ESPN app. You can see every game and every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. This one backhanded by Haley Tony across the diamond. Great play, a 6-pitch inning for the Red Raiders, and the defense for Texas Tech flashing the leather.
Haley Tony has started every game of her career at shortstop, and this is exactly why. Such a stud, a 6-pitch inning for Nyjah Kennedy.
The tailgating vibes outside of Tracy Sellers Field, and it's all because of Texas Tech softball. You get this kind of football tailgate vibe.
Totally.
Yeah, they made it to the college football playoff, but guess what? It was Texas Tech softball team with that run to the national championship coming up as runners-up a season ago that helped to build this great atmosphere and have everyone dialed in to Red Raiders softball. Folks are excited around Lubbock. Mia Williams leading it off here. And well out in front of that off-speed pitch from Emily Boyer. Now 1-1. Williams with 22 home runs on the season. Joined the 2020 club, the first to ever do so, with her 20th stolen base yesterday. The area that needed to be addressed after that run to OKC for Jerry Glasgow, hey, we needed more offense, and they brought it in for certain.
5 of their starting 9 hitting over 10 home runs this year. Mia Williams, 22 of those so far. Look at that. Such a stud.
Single season record here at Texas Tech with 75 home runs, or excuse me, RBI. Just continuing to add up. She brings over some experience too, having been to the Women's College World Series with the Gators, but the leadoff walk here to Williams, and the second of the game for Boyer.
This is where things can get a little hairy too, right? It's the free passes that set the table for some of these big bats. We saw Taylor Panel go yard yesterday. Transfer coming over from Tennessee, a part of the starting 9, one of those 5 that have double-digit home runs. All 5 of those that have the double-digit home runs are transfers. I mean, that's the type of reload that Texas Tech has gotten this season.
Well, we saw the dominant pitching from Nyjah Kennedy and the way that she helped to carry them through the first 3 games. She had like 49 consecutive innings as she was able to notch wins against Ole Miss, UCLA, and Oklahoma a season ago. And this is what Taylor Panel did yesterday to notch double-digit home runs, a 2-run blast over the left field wall.
Off speed, low in the zone, just so patient with contact all the way through extension.
The 1-2 from Boyer, and Boyer gets her second strikeout of the game. Another look here from Emily Boyer.
Big time drop ball. I mean, look at the location of this. Starts at the front knee, ends almost at the back ankle. Great location with 2 strikes. This is an adjustment that Texas Tech is going to have to make, is on that pitch.
And we talked about how you make adjustments mentally, trying to figure out the strike zone. As that one outside and ball 1 to Haley Toney. And for Emily Boyer, you know, what does she do to try to adapt to that?
Well, if you're not going to get those drop balls called, you better hope you get swing and misses. For her, it's about tunneling those pitches, setting up the pitch, specifically getting ahead in the count with 2 strikes to where you see those swing overs, just like you saw from Taylor Panel.
Haley Toney right back to Boyer, makes the play at second and safe at first. So the lead runner is out. You talked about the defense needing to back up Boyer, helping herself and taking down the lead runner.
Notice the no hesitation. Boyer knew exactly where she was going to go with that ball the second it was off the bat. Area of their play for Ole Miss that head coach Jamie Traxel takes a lot of pride in is defense. We saw them coming into this weekend. I mean, preparing that first practice on Thursday, you and I got to watch this team warm up on the field. They spent a lot of time drilling defense. Outfield, infield, pitchers fielding their positions. They take a lot of pride in dirt work.
The pinch hitter, Lauren Allred, in the 8th spot, stepping in. Allred, who was integral in that Women's College World Series run a season ago. And her numbers on the year, .368 batting average. Did she commit? No. Says Trina Cornifer at third base.
Just shy of the front of that plate. A really nice hold by Allred. Bunker checking in on Boyer. Again, just trying to keep the wheels on this bus when it comes to free passes. We've already seen 2 free passes.
And I think, again, we'll continue to revisit this throughout, Aaron. The fact that how they perform and how many free passes they give up helps to determine what the outcome will be. You said this earlier.
And it's worth hitting again. 20-5 when they allow 2 walks or less. But check out when they walk 2 or more, 15-19. Well, we're already at that 2 mark. When you face a team, too, like Texas Tech, you're bound to see a ball leave the yard. We've talked about the home run power, the massive swingers that have reloaded this offense, but now you got to limit damage. Don't set the table with free passes.
And just as you say it, base on ball awarded to Lauren Allred. 3rd walk of the day, 2nd of this inning.
Holloman's been red hot. She steps in, was 2 for 3 yesterday. So much speed from Holloman, 11 for 11 on stolen bases. There is a lot of speed, too, for Texas Tech, a potent duo between power and legs.
They had 7 stolen bases yesterday, just 1 off a program record. And they like to wheel around more than 122 stolen bases on the season. You know, Jerry Glasgow loves to switch it up, and at any moment, players can take off running. Holloman right back to Boyer, snags it out the air, feels the position not once but twice in this inning to get out of the jam, so those free passes don't come back to bite her. Her team up to bat when we return.
Something I've learned is just like I think I'm tougher than I thought I was. In the circle, I think I'm definitely a competitor.
Kennedy delivers in the biggest moment.
I love to compete. I think I'm energetic.
We're talking about a once-in-a-generation type player. That's what he thinks of Nyjah Kennedy.
I feel like I've handled a lot of stuff softball-wise and kind of off the field that I'm really proud of myself for.
Well, Nyjah Kennedy is all the things, and when you watch her play softball, you understand why. She got hit in that first inning, right? Boom, right out the gate. Ole Miss goes swinging as she hits the first batter of this 3rd inning, and that's Kennedy Bunker who hit that solo shot to lead off this game. But in talking with her, I just saw just such a kind, polite, mannerable young lady. Jerry Glasgow echoed those sentiments as well. So sweet off the field, but boy, she is quite the competitor when she touches the dirt.
We had a really fun time getting a chance to sit down and talk with Coach Glasgow. We talked with Nyjah Kennedy and Caitlin Terry, and the difference in personalities. In fact, Coach Glasgow mentioned that. He's like, how I coach and talk to Nyjah, completely different than how I talk to Caitlin. You know, Caitlin may have to spit a few words at me in the circle, but Nyjah is always, yes, sir, and I'll do better. Just very different temperaments in the circle, but both extremely competitive.
Out in front of that one. Change up there, and it's 1-2 now to Pickens, who singled her first time up.
It's 3 different speeds with that pitch. We've seen, obviously, the mid to low 70s, mid to high 60s, and that one there at 56. Back-to-back true change-ups from Nyjah.
3 Ks today already for Kennedy.
It's devastating. Back-to-back same speed. Gets her absolutely pulled out front. Not on time at all with the change-up.
Here's Percy Yamas, first pitch swinging down the first base line, and it's foul.
A lot of pull pop from Percy Yamas. We've seen her absolutely obliterate that right field line so far through this regional. Had the 0-2 count. It pulled that base hit just over the head of Williams, second base.
But going back to that conversation just about the difference in personalities between the two, you've got so many All-Americans on this team. Helps to just bring a different level of energy, as Panel nearly got to that one. It only helps to make you better, right? Raises your game. And so Nigeri Kennedy and Caitlin Terry have been a wonderful complement to each other, both with the same mission: domination.
That's it. They want to win a title. That to me is what's fascinating about this squad too. We mentioned all the transfer power, just magnetized to this program, getting on board with the mission to win a championship. And while you look at it, it could be a lot of me, me, me. It's not. This team is about one thing and one thing only, and it's returning to the Women's College World Series to fight for a title.
And two, just the idea that it's not all on Nigeri's arm, right? 36 less innings pitched coming into today's game. Still making it very difficult for batters to hit her, though, when she is in the circle. Yeah, those home run rates and walk rates may be up for her, but she entered into this regional with an opponent batting average .142. The payoff pitch to Yamis and over to Tony, and they're going to look to turn a double play, and not in time. Very close there, as Yamis was able to beat the throw to first just in the nick of time. So the 6-4 put out.
You know, it's easy just to talk about the glove work of Haley Tony, but to me it's how quickly she gets the ball out of her hands. Very close play at first. We may actually have a look at this.
And Williams, you saw her ask for a review, and we're going to get one.
Ruling on the field is safe at first base. Texas Tech is challenging that ruling. Previous plays under further review.
And Jerry Glasgow immediately asking for the review. Another look here. It's going to be really close. Ooh.
Wow.
And just as the ball gets into the glove, I think Yamas's
You may see this overturned.
You think so?
I
see it as, I think the heel of her toe.
Wow. That is,
touches the bag.
This is what I describe as a bang play. Like, truly it happens at the same time. It's not bang, bang.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simultaneous. The question is there enough here to overturn the existing call, which is safe at first base? To your point, I don't know that there is definitive evidence here to overturn this call.
Sometimes the call on the field is so important because from this angle, I think, yes, Yamis looks like she beats it. From the other angle, however, you have a great point as well. Like you said, simultaneously happening. But it's certainly worth a try here. You get two challenges apiece. So Jerry Glasgow electing to use one. He wins it, he keeps it, he loses it.
Well, and if he wins,
away.
This gets them out of the inning, as opposed to having to face Maddie George, the freshman with 22 home runs on the year. Duck on the pond for her. This would be a huge call if this swung in Texas Tech's favor.
Each awaiting the decision with this one. But already, we've seen this Ole Miss team come out, gloves off for them, underdog, not afraid, and trying to attack right at Nigeri Kennedy. And we'll get the decision right here.
After review, the ruling on the field, the call stands, runner safe. Texas Tech have one challenge remaining.
And so an unsuccessful challenge for Jerry Glasgow. He's got one left. As Percy Yamis standing at first base, and Maddie George, the program's single-season home run leader, steps to the plate. She also leads this team in RBI, surpassing the record that was set by Yamis a season ago. And Maddie George yesterday who had 3 RBI, 2 coming off this ring.
Notice that pitch location, low and away. It was 22nd home run. Well, 17 of those 22 home runs have been opposite field. That's her power alley. Off speed, low and away there. You and I chatted about it. Very rare to see that for a lefty. You typically see lefties have that pull side power, similar to Percy Yamas, who we saw in the 3-hole.
One high, getting past the catcher, Jazzy Burns. And now Yamas in scoring position for Maddie George.
Play something for Nyjah Kennedy just to know. I mean, the home run she gave up to Kennedy Bunker, also low and away, lefty.
We're cutting in high and tight now. Full count to the freshman who is playing in her first ever NCAA tournament here in her home state. This one lifted high in the infield, pop out, and that ends the inning. Runner left on base as we move to the bottom of the third. Top of the order due up for the Red Raiders. Well, this Ole Miss team always brings a scrappy squad to the field. How about the Rebels going into Fayetteville, taking down a national seed in Arkansas to make their first ever Women's College World Series appearance. They caught fire at the right time, and certainly the feeling of pulling up to Devon Park and being a part of the last 8 teams standing in college softball. What a run they had during the postseason, upset after upset. And Jamie Traxel's crew has that underdog mentality coming in yet again this season and trying to take down the 11 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders. Emily Boyer in her debut season with the Rebels has a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the third, as back to the top of the order with Maya Davis, who struck out her first time up.
Some of the talent, especially in the circle, that led the way for Ole Miss to have that record-breaking season last year. First ticket they've ever punched to the Women's College World Series. I think of Binford in the circle, Bree Lopez, Allison Cooper, Miley Wachenia, who transferred to Oklahoma. This Ole Miss team had to completely rebuild their pitching staff. Boyer sitting down Davis. That's tough, right? You've got 3 brand new arms carrying the majority of the load. A lot of newness on this team, having had a few seniors on this squad, a few veterans that understand that experience, having to quickly mix those newcomers into the fold.
And Emily Boyer, who has helped to lead the charge as of late, as Ole Miss, again, winning their last 2 SEC series, picking up a couple of conference tournament wins against South Carolina and Tennessee. And this is a group that finished 13th in the conference, but that matters not at the end of the season, because you've got to get hot at the right time. And certainly Jamie Traxel continues to find a way with her teams to do just that.
$16 newcomers, 10 of those transfers. And we'd asked just about the ease of that transition. Was it easy? Was it seamless? And the answer was no. This has not been an easy ride.
The grounder over to Mackenzie Pickens at second base, and Caitlin Terry takes the seat.
It's taken some time for this squad to put together the pieces, to find the flow. A lot of effort, too, from head coach Jamie Traxel, who takes a lot of pride in that challenge. She said, I am my best as a leader and as a head coach when it is hard. And I had a massive challenge on my hand to rebuild this staff, bring in some newbies.
To the reflection of this team from their head coach being able to handle hard this season. Not everything has gone necessarily the way they would have liked, to your point, Aaron, but they've found a way to navigate through that and put themselves in a position yet again for quest to OKC once more. Jackie Liss with 2 balls and a strike. And Emily Boyer, again, who's just helped to carry the load, coming in with the most innings pitched for this staff. And there's been an arm that they've had to rely on. You mentioned Lily Witten. How about Kyra Aycock, who joined the staff as well, coming over from Oklahoma State?
Boyer's done a nice job cutting up low in the strike zone and has silenced a Texas Tech team through almost 3 complete innings here. It's very potent at the plate.
Again, they had 12 base hits yesterday, and they've only gotten on base via 3 walks awarded by Boyer. The payoff to Liss. And another walk there. 4th of the afternoon. Don't miss the NWSL Sunday night on ESPN2 as Portland goes head-to-head with Angel City. Kickoff is at 6 Eastern. Watch it live on ESPN2. You can also stream the match on the ESPN app. That brings back Jazzy Byrne to fly it out to center field her first time up. And like you said, this Texas Tech team looking to get something going here and searching for their first base hit of the ball game. Among confidence builders, you talked earlier just about what we saw from Emily Boyer coming in and how our conversations were that, hey, I could fit here. I belong here. Being able to be introduced from D2 to D1 softball. Said beating Tennessee was a huge confidence booster. As that one, a diving grab from Ryan Starr, who's an outstanding third baseman, to get out of the inning for the Ole Miss Rebels. They still lead 1-0. And there you go. Got to put it all out there on the line. The defense backing up for you. Welcome back to the Lubbock Regional. Fans in the stands watching this winner's bracket game between Ole Miss and Texas Tech. Red Raiders head coach Jerry Glasgow joining us now, and Nigeri Kennedy gets the start. Got hit around a little bit early on, but what have you liked from her response in settling in?
Well, she figured it out. I mean, she just threw a fat pitch, and with the wind blowing out, you can't throw it out on that outside half today to a lefty. And I think she's changed his speeds down, hitting her spots a lot better, and got settled in.
Coach, you know the pop and the power that this offense has, but hitless against Boyer. What's the answer right now?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. They got to get the sweet spot on the ball. Right now, we're just being a little tentative. We're getting on our heels. We got to go up there and hack. Go up there and swinging. Quit looking so much, and let's get the bats swinging.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time. In the mid to high 90s here, and certainly Jerry Glasgow, when we had the conversation with him earlier this week about why people come to watch Texas Tech softball, it was when Nigeri Kennedy entered this program, got $1 million arm, first $1 million player thanks to name, image, and likeness, as she helped to infuse a resurgence and really make Texas Tech softball relevant here.
And did it in a hurry, too, Tiffany, in one season. I mean, the turnaround for this program, historic. Since Jerry Glasgow stepping into the helm here, I mean, what he's done for the Red Raiders, the talent he's brought into this facility, to this program, We've never seen anything like it.
Hosted their first ever regional and super a year ago on their way to Oklahoma City. So they wanted to show, hey, look, we're here to stay. We're going to keep on doing what we do. And back here for year 2 hosting a regional. Cassie Reisner. And Kennedy wanted that pitch on the outside part of the plate, but it has not been given much today.
We've seen it on both sides. At least you're getting consistent inconsistencies with both arms. I don't know where this misses, Tiffany. I mean, we've seen low in the zone be borderline, now clip in the outside corner. And I think that this is a topic of conversation that, at least I know for me in covering softball all year, has really been a complaint from a lot of head coaches, is that the zone is tight. We are a very offensively heavy sport right now, the most powerful we've ever been in the sport of softball.
And after a couple of big foul balls, Reisner is retired. Go back to Kennedy, and this is how she started the ball game, giving up a solo shot to Kennedy Bunker.
Yeah, since then, she has really carved it up. She's changed speeds really well. She's spun the ball through the strike zone with so much control. You heard it from Jerry Glasgow in that interview at the top of the inning. She's figured it out.
Then how much more impressive is it that Kennedy is still able to put up the numbers that she has, just north of 1.2 in terms of ERA, number of strikeouts that she's been able to register, coming in with 209. She's already added 3 this afternoon. Still being able to be one of the dominant arms in this game.
That was a specific question. That one clips the corner of the elbow of Applin. Specific question that I had for her coming into this weekend, her senior year, the amount of scouting, the amount of video, the amount of prep that teams have to prepare for the dominance of Nyjah Kennedy. And how do you stay fresh, Nyjah? How do you stay, on edge where you still have a competitive advantage in the circle? And the humility that she brought to that answer was, I have support now. I have additional arms in the pen that can allow me to rest, to recharge, to step into the circle with a full tank of gas. And every single arm that we talked to gave that love right back to Nyjah. This pen is stronger, and I think of every aspect for Texas Tech. They've improved in every single category. Speed. 6 of the starting 9 have over 11 stolen bases, double-digit stolen bases.
And this one over the head of Tony into left field, and the base hit for Tinley Grisham.
Something brewing here for Ole Miss. Really nice piece of hitting, timing this ball up opposite field. Lefty's having a little bit of success here against Nyjah. Running through the box, she's able to see this pitch deep, up and away, over the head of Haley Tony. And now 2 on and less than 2 outs. And if I'm the Rebels, I am fighting for an insurance run, Tiffany, especially facing this offense. It's a ticking time bomb for Texas Tech before you see some balls get hit hard. So I'd be scrapping for any insurance right now, especially in this opportunity.
And realizing that Jamie Traxel electing to go with another lefty off the bench. The pinch hitter here, Rachel Connors, standing at the plate. You go back to that Mississippi State series. She walked it off in dramatic fashion with a home run. Take down the Bulldogs. They were able to win that series. We mentioned this group coming in, winning 8 of their last 11. And a 1-0 advantage here in the first of 3 games today from West Texas. Ian Miller-Thiessen and Tiffany Green here with you in a meeting in the circle. Good time to Take a look at the bracket. Remember, the winner of this one will go on to face the winner of the Gainesville Regional, Marist and Boston University, in our first of 2 elimination games here this afternoon. And all 4 of these teams this weekend trying to vie for one of those 2 spots in the regional final Sunday, set for 4 Eastern. Connors going up, chasing that one.
You know, this margin is small, but it's worth noting, just looking at her splits. Righty's hitting 131 off of her. Lefty's hitting almost 160. Again, I know that's a small needle to move, but facing her, those numbers matter.
So Connors, who went around on that swing, now the 2-2 pitch from Kennedy. And it's fouled back. Well, to your point, right-handed hitters so far today have 1 of the 4 hits, the other 3 coming from the left side. And so with the lefty Connors in the box, the pitch on the way from Kennedy. This one sent into the outfield, opposite field, home run for Rachel Connors. The lefties having their way here in Lubbock. A huge 3-run blast for Rachel Connors.
Jamie Traxel looks like a genius right now. The pinch hitter, Rachel Connors, stepping in, 2 on, less than 2 out, opposite field shot. This is the 2nd home run for Ole Miss, the 2nd off of the bat of a lefty, and the 2nd that's opposite field. So impressive for the Rebels, and a massive statement for Ole Miss.
And the lefty bats continue to figure it out against the 2-time Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. Taylor Malvin over to Tony at short, and she's retired. Out number 2 there. As we go back to the top of the order, and Kennedy Bunker, you mentioned the home run power opposite field from the left side. Bunker, as you mentioned, started off this game that way. Sitting in a near exact position as Rachel Connors. And right now, the crowd is stunned.
Eerily silent.
Yeah. At this 4-0 advantage here at the top of the 4th for Ole Miss. And getting the strikeout to end the inning.
Well, Texas Tech has their work cut out for them. Lefties owning the plate against Nyjah Kennedy today. A 4-0 ball game, Texas Tech.
Jamie Traxel, the Rebels head coach, joining us now. You talked about some of the themes coming into this weekend. You challenged your group. You said, where are your guts? What do you bring into the table? And thus far, they have responded. What have you loved about what they've done so far?
Just how loose and free we've been, and how in the moment, even Kennedy just starting off the game. I think just showing we're confident in what we're doing. We've seen great pitching, especially in conference, and we feel like we're prepared for this. Just keeping it a game of execution. No feels, just facts, but a lot of confidence and belief in what we're capable of doing.
Well, Coach, you're a genius. You bring in Rachel Connors off the bench for that pinch hit 3-run shot. Talk about that decision. What made it?
Yeah, Rachel's been huge for us all year. She had a walk-off against Mississippi State. She's had multiple big pinch hit opportunities for us, and we save her for those moments. And with Ryan, that's kind of been a regular, especially if we have a couple of people in scoring position. So that was probably comfortable for those guys, and what a great swing she put on the ball.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys. Hotty, hotty.
You go back to that pinch hit, walk-off home run against Mississippi State back on May 1st is what she's referencing most recently with Rachel Connors, and it provides a cushion now of 4 runs for Emily Boyer. And so you have the complement of the offense, the defense for Boyer, and those free passes, not an issue to this point because the Rebels have come ready here in this winner's bracket game against Texas Tech.
Boyer's gotten the support of defense behind her, gotten the support, obviously, of the offense, giving her just some room to breathe. A little bit of an exhale now in the bottom of the 4th inning.
5, 6, 7 due up for Texas Tech, leading it off with Mia Williams, followed by Taylor Panel on deck and Haley Toney in the hole. Williams, who walked her first time up after driving in a couple of runs yesterday, a couple of singles against Maris, tried to leg that out, and Williams is retired.
You can feel it, just all the pressure right now is on Texas Tech. In fact, even talking to Jamie Traxel coming into this weekend, I asked her just the conversation with her group, what's the feeling right now? And she said, we got nothing to lose. You mentioned the underdog mentality. She said it is expected for Texas Tech to win this weekend, and that is what we know. But we're coming in trying to upset some people. We want to shock the world.
What's right so now, much of what they did last year, right?
Exactly right.
Same script, seemingly.
Shocking Arkansas on their home turf in Super Regionals. They punched their first ever ticket to the Women's College World Series. They come in this weekend to Lubbock. Same order.
Taylor Panel has that one snagged by Ryan Starr. She talked about the defense at the hot corner, and Starr, another terrific play at third.
Truly, the defense for Ole Miss has given Emily Boyer the support that she needs in the circle. She is making competitive pitches. Some of these are some risky locations against the power of Texas Tech, but the defense behind her has been the backstop.
And Emily Boyer, who came in to this program hoping for opportunities and moments like this. D2 National Player of the Year last season at West Texas A&M. Just keeps getting stronger and stronger in this game. Too, she gave credit to Nancy Evans on this staff. Obviously, Evans, a very successful player herself at Arizona. 3 natties with the Wildcats. There's a strike there to Toney. And she talked about just the way that she's brought this staff together. Brand new, as you mentioned. It's a staff within a staff, or team within a team.
I described each of these arms on the Ole Miss staff as having unique talents. Each of them really carrying their own weight, their own style, their own matchups.
A drop ball low, and now a 3-2 count to Haley Toney. The payoff. Gets the strikeout. A 1-2-3 inning for Emily Boyer.
13 pitches from Emily Boyer. Gets the K. 3 up, 3 down. Ole Miss still in the driver's seat. Ole Miss having exploded at the plate, and it's been way of the lefty bombs. 2 lefty shots. One of those a pinch hit 3-run shot. They have had the answer against Nyjah Kennedy, and take a look at the left-handed success. 2 shots, 4 for 11. Righties with 3 Ks, only 1 for 6. And because of that production, Nyjah Kennedy, there's her line. She exits the game. Only 4 innings and 70 pitches thrown. She's going to take a seat in the dugout. It's Lincoln that steps into the circle.
And the southpaw delivers strike 1 to Mackenzie Pickens. Lincoln, the sophomore out of Massachusetts. And you think about a player who's often overlooked on this staff because you've got Kennedy and Terry, but she has provided the necessary help. As you referenced earlier in your conversation with Nyjah Kennedy, hey, look, she's got help. Sam Lincoln is an example of that 65 innings pitch coming into today's game. And the strikeout to walk ratio very heavily in favor of the K's. 7 wins on the season. And right now, if you're Ole Miss, you've got to find a way to keep the foot on the gas and try to put as many runs on the board as possible, even with the new pitcher in the ball game, and Mackenzie Pickens does so. Seeing the ball well here this afternoon. Second base hit for Pickens.
Ole Miss only hitting .274 against lefty pitchers, as opposed to almost .300 against righty arms. So back to the reasoning, the scout potentially to make this switch is obviously a 4-run lead for Ole Miss. They're trying to get maybe Kennedy a little bit of rest here, while Texas Tech and their offense has a little bit of work to do.
Still a lot of softball to be played. We have 2 elimination games on the way. We'll see Boston University and Marist up next, which hoping to keep their seasons alive. We'll see Yamis with a 1-1 count. And Lincoln gets ready. 2-1. We saw the defensive change with Desiree Spearman moving into the shortstop position for Haley Toney. Giannis fouls that one off. Well, you heard Jamie Traxel talk about just the different arms that they saw throughout the conference season. You think about Jocelyn Brisky and Dick Moten at Alabama, Tegan Cavan for Texas, Carlin Pickens over at Tennessee. Faced a steady dose of arms right there. The lefty-lefty matchup working in favor of Samantha Lincoln as the Red Raider pitcher records her first strikeout.
That curveball, Yamis just didn't have an answer to. This is a breaking ball that moves away from the hands of Yamis. I knew this matchup would give her a little bit of fits, too. Just the way that that ball breaks away from her power alley on the pull side. However, on the flip side, this lines up really nicely for Maddie George. Loves that opposite field pop. 22 home runs, 17 of those are opposite field. So that lefty curveball actually plays into the advantage of Maddie George.
NCAA Top 10 National Freshman of the Year finalist, 1 out of 4 from the SEC. And we talked to her just about the excitement of her first ever NCAA tournament. She said, wow, this whole experience has just been cooler than I ever imagined. Cool. Yeah.
Definitely paying respects to the power of Maddie George. You can see how deep the infield is, right on the edge of the turf. haven't seen the turf really be a factor today because it's either been no hits or home runs. A couple of base knocks early for Ole Miss, but we did see on Thursday's practices all of these teams prepping for the quick turf outfield, the bounce of that rubberized turf.
And out in front of that one, George strikeouts, back-to-back Ks for Sam Lincoln. Well out in front of this one.
Sam Lincoln establishing the off-speed, perfect location, breaks just under the kneecap, and way out in front of that pitch is Matty George.
So Cassie Reisner now stands in with Pickens, who led the inning off with a single. Reisner, who struck out and flew out, 0 for 2 today. Reisner, who came over from Kentucky. We mentioned one of the 10 transfers for this Ole Miss team. Twelve teams of the SEC in this NCAA tournament. The Southeastern Conference, perfect yesterday in their opening round games. Saw about 6 different walk-offs yesterday. Some really good performances all around. We're just getting started.
We are just getting started. Truly, I'm already starting to anticipate potentially what other upsets or early eliminations that none of us expected. All of those developments, you know how it is. We're in mayhem, baby. Things get wild. Could be one here. Ole Miss up 4-0.
And the 2-out walk awarded to Cassie Reisner, so 2 on and 2 out. And Applin stepping in. The right fielder, Leilana Applin, who scored a run, was hit by a pitch in that 4th inning and came around on that 3-run shot from Connors deep into the 6th hole. And Desiree Spearman just stops it from going into the outfield, but now that loads the bases for Ole Miss.
Jazzy Burns stepping out behind the plate to have a word with this infield and buying some time too for a conference meeting. Sarah Archibald stepping out, associate head coach in her 2nd year.
And obviously you want to get out to a quick start, right? You look at the statistics historically, 89% of the teams starting out 2-0 advance. And so Ole Miss trying to punch their ticket into the regional final. They could hold on to this win here against the 11 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders. Ann Miller Thiessen, Tiffany Green here with you from the Lubbock Regional. Both Ole Miss and Texas Tech coming off of Women's College World Series runs back in 2025. First in program history for each of these teams. Anxious to get back to OKC. It was Ole Miss who came out of the gate strong, put up a run in the 1st, and then tacked on 3 more last inning, both by way of long balls. As this one over to Spearman, flips it over to third base, and that ends the inning. So the base is left loaded as we move to the fifth. The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. Action begins Thursday, May 28th at noon, live on ESPN. For more info, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships, and taking a look at some of the storylines already from today. Jordy Fromm at Nebraska, the number 4 Cornhuskers, taking down Grand Canyon. 16 Ks for Fromm. The domination we saw from Arizona over the national seed Duke Blue Devils, and the Texas State Bobcats with their first NCAA tournament win since 2014, shutting out Florida A&M. And again, all eyes on that Gainesville regional from West Texas, as the winner of this regional will go on to face the Gainesville regional winner. Florida making quick work earlier today of Georgia Tech with a run rule victory over the Yellow Jackets, shutting out the group out of Atlanta. And can another SEC team have success here? And as we speak of, Ole Miss, a 4-0 lead over the Red Raiders.
We've seen a lot of lefty swingers chase that drop ball low and away. We saw that with Haley Tony's strikeout in the 4th inning. We've seen that twice with Davis in the leadoff for Texas Tech, chasing low and away from the left-handed batter's box.
And Boyer looks on. The 2-2 pitch. And just looking around what's happening right now, I mean, this is a wide open field this year. It's anybody's to win this season. Of course, Texas, the reigning champs. As this one past Boyer. Great fielding from Cassie Reisner over at her shortstop position to retire all red.
That defensive support continues. Right, Boyer is a ground ball out pitcher. The fact that she's had the glove work behind her has made all the difference in this ball game. A lot of hard hit balls so far on the dirt, and the D has been lights out.
Holloman showing bunt. Is the infield squeezing in. 0 for 1 today, but her average 471 on the season. Done a terrific job. You talked about it earlier from her 9-hole position. The way she's able to get on base, flip the lineup over. And another table setter for Jerry Glasgow. But right now, this afternoon, thus far, belongs to Emily Boyer. And the way that she has held Texas Tech in check this afternoon. And Boyer here in the bottom of the 5th, still looking back to see the placement of the ball and where she can get a strike call. A 3-0 count to Holloman. And now a full count here.
I mentioned the 7 stolen bases that we saw from Texas Tech yesterday. That's a huge part of their game, the speed that they bring to the base paths and the pressure that they apply to defenses. Well, they haven't been able to use that tool today. Very silent at the plate.
And well-played defense once again. Cassie Reisner is doing an outstanding job and just tracking that one And hauling in out number 2.
Still searching for their first base hit besides the 4 walks. There have been no base runners. I mean, this is just a very dry offensive outing for Texas Tech. I mentioned the speed. That is a massive part of their game that they pair with their power, and both of those have just not been here to play.
Boyer, who has retired 6 batters in a row, and the infield coming in to have a discussion with Bunker and Boyer. Boy, you love the leadership behind the plate that we have seen from Kennedy Bunker, just getting a really good pulse on what's needed. Jamie Traxel just talked about the way that she takes control behind the plate, a great motivator for her teammates. And we saw that leadership once again.
Yeah, really described as the MVP of this team. The field general back behind the plate.
And Maya Davis has not been able to notch a hit along with the rest of this Red Raider team. She's got 2 strikeouts, gone down swinging twice.
Only 12 Ks on the year, already collected 2 against Emily Boyer. Both of those chasing low and away. That has been a lights out pitch location for Boyer against the lefties in Texas Tech's order.
Pitch. Nearly grabbed, but out of the glove of Mackenzie Pickens, and the first base hit, and safe over at second base, going for it. You talk about the speed, the aggressiveness on the base pass, and a 2-out base hit.
Blistered. This just barely over the web of the glove of Pickens. And I thought this was just going to be a stand-up single. I mean, truly, had my head down ready to pencil this in as a 1B in my scorebook, and I look up, and there's a head-first dive into second base. Thought this was a lot closer than it was, but that hand definitely gets in there safely, and the speed of Davis, 36 stolen bases on the year, and she sets up potentially what could be a 2-out rally here for Texas Tech.
And right now, Jamie Traxel electing to challenge here. And so they will review whether she is safe or not. Again, in real time, it looked much closer. But on those replays, it's pretty definitive from what we see that Davis is indeed safe. If she is, that again would be the first hit to break up the no-no for Boyer. And again,
it's a good look.
Would be in scoring position. I see that right hand.
And tag.
Yep. And they're showing it on the video board in the outfield, and the fans getting an opportunity to see it as well. And really from both angles, it appears that the call on the field will stand.
When you give Texas Tech an opportunity to flash the speed, it is very rare.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Very rare that they get thrown out. The speed is so hard to defend. I mentioned 6 of the starting 9, over 11 stolen bases on the year. And she just never turned it off. Immediately, there was a decision that she made rounding first base that she was going to take 2 bags here without a second thought.
One of the fastest players that you're going to see in the game today. You talked about stolen bases. Right now, we could see some movement for Davis. And she already is a tying of a program record yesterday with now 36. Caitlin Terry stands in the first really good opportunity for Texas Tech to try to push a run across.
Terry, a top 10 finalist, NCAA Player of the Year, 10 home runs, batting almost 500 this season.
A player who has been a great addition to this program, and right now a very favorable count for her as Boyer is behind, 3 balls and no strikes.
Told us she's never felt more confident at the plate than when playing for Jerry Glasgow. Gives her the space to go for it, gives her the space to play free.
Swings through that one now, a full count. And a big moment in this game right now as Ole Miss trying to hold tight to a 4-0 lead. The Red Raiders with their first great opportunity and just flares it over to third base. And after giving up the first base hit of the game, Boyer gets out of it. Her defense backs her up and the Rebels still lead. Back here in West Texas, we move to the top of the 6th and shutout for Ole Miss on the line here as the Rebels try to move on to the regional final. And right now, all things working for this crew. Nigerie Kennedy, who started off this game, the NCAA Pitcher of the Year a season ago, had to take a seat. Sam Lincoln comes in relief. But Ole Miss has owned the day so far. Starr laying down the bunt, the flip from Sam Lincoln just in time. So Lincoln doing a good job and just getting out of the glove to retire the first batter.
Right back to Lincoln, and a lefty. She has to shovel that throw backhanded to first base. That is the challenge for her, being in the circle, having to field that position, is the setup throw to first. And we saw her struggle to field that position yesterday in game 1, to be honest. And again, just scouting defenses of what you're facing in the circle. If I'm Ole Miss, if I'm any team in this tournament, I'm taking note of the struggle there out of the circle for Lincoln. Short game definitely challenging her.
The 2-0 pitch to Taylor Malvin. We can't talk about Ole Miss's run throughout the postseason last year without including Taylor Malvin in that conversation. Both offensively and defensively, did some great things. Had that game-saving catch to preserve their lead in Fayetteville to take down the 4-seed Arkansas Razorbacks. And a home run in that Tucson Regional. And they came up with a couple of hits in the Women's College World Series. And again, with 16 newcomers to this team, a steady piece for the senior out of Johns Creek, Georgia. The 3-2 snagged by Panel at third, and Malvin gets the base hit.
this was foul, to be honest. Off the end of the bat, the diving body, she definitely dives over the foul line. But I thought that on the initial bounce, at least to our eye up here in the booth, that was foul. It may have hit the chalk line. I may have seen a little chalk fly. That's the 8th base hit for Ole Miss.
We saw 12 hits yesterday for the Rebels team. The double play intact, the 4-6-3 put out to end the inning. So now it's Texas Tech down to their final 6 outs. They got some work to do, but the defense doing what they need to do to get out of the inning and give themselves a chance. Texas Tech will look to find some offense. The middle of their order due up with Liss leading it off. The lone hit for the Red Raiders coming back in that last inning from Maya Davis. A couple of walks for Jackie Liss, but when they have had base runners on, they have not been able to do anything with it, as Boyer, who's brought her A game in her first ever NCAA Division I regional. Remember, she played ball just 90 miles north of here at West Texas A&M. It's in Canyon, Texas. And now a 2-2 count to Liss. The pitch. Over to Pickens at second, and the 4-3 put out. Well, you talk about the ebbs and flows of a season, Aaron. They had a tough first month through SEC play. And they were oh so close to trying to get series wins against LSU and Texas A&M. Two teams in the tournament. And then they found their stride late in the year to come in rolling into this Lubbock Regional.
It was very apparent too, Tiffany, just talking to not only the players but to this coaching staff, that they feel like they're peaking at the right time. They're playing their best ball at this point in the season. That is a coach's dream, to be able to make that statement. And you can't plan for it. That's the thing, is you can have all the systems and the structure and the algorithm and all the makings of all the things, but if you're not putting it together come mid to end of May, it means nothing. Well, this Ole Miss team is doing that, putting the puzzle pieces together at the right time.
And they have an 11 seed on the ropes here, trailing by 4 in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, on the flip side, a very different conversation we had with Texas Tech. Losing to Arizona State in the Big 12 tournament finals. Coming in with a little bit of bruised confidence, admittedly.
And this one is the opposite field, just inside the line, and Jazzy Burns with a 1-out single.
Second base hit for Texas Tech.
We'll see if the Red Raiders can get something cooking here in the bottom of the 6th.
Where that pitch was, low and away. She golfs this ball up the right field line. She has so much extension through contact and just barely stays fair.
That's a great angle from our right field camera. Michaela Garcia, the junior from right here in Lubbock, Texas, in at first base as the pinch runner. Mia Williams Out in front of that one, the off speed. It's strike one. So once again, same pitch, same outcome. Now no ball and 2 strikes. Back to Boyer and gets the lead runner, so Garcia sits down as Williams at first with 2 outs. You talk about that conversation further, just about, last year's success. You win the regular season and tournament title in the Big 12 for the first time ever, and in the uncharted territory of hosting regional and supers, going all the way to the Champ Series, national runners-up this year. This Texas Tech group felt a little differently coming in after the tournament championship loss. Again, those different feels for Jerry Glasgow's team. And again, we talked about it with him. He was just like, look, we have got to make a statement. We got to let them know. Let them know that we're back. And what makes him feel all the more confident, last year they proved a lot of things, right? Because it was a first for them. But this year, it's just like, we've got a ton of talent. So the talent has to pace the way. The talent has to lead the way to help us get to where we need to get back to.
He almost seemed a little peeved by some of the ego even with this team. Like last year, they had a lot to prove, to your point, a lot of firsts. It was a record-breaking season, and this year with the incoming talent, the experience of the success in conference, both in playing in the 3-game Women's College World Series championship, that they came in this year feeling like they were the big dog. And at times he's got to remind them, hey, it's not handed to you. This game not handed to them either.
Taylor Panel, who's got 2 on, she sent one out yesterday. And bring some life back here to the Red Raiders with 1 swing. Panel, who faced off against Ole Miss last season when she was in a Tennessee uniform, and now the walk awarded. So 2 aboard with 2 outs. And Desiree Spearman coming to the plate. Nancy Evans making a trip to the circle to have a conversation with Emily Boyer. Folks, if you're just tuning in, it was Boyer who held Texas Tech without a hit for 4 2/3 inning. She shut them out thus far. One of the top offenses in the country, and now the Red Raiders threatening here as a chance to move on to the regional final tomorrow is on the line.
This is the right call, to come out, just do a pulse check, slow the game down a little bit if nothing else, but to reinforce the importance of getting this out. A 2-out opportunity for Texas Tech, who feels like they've just been on the brink, right, of a ticking time bomb offensively at the plate. But Boyer has been so good through almost 6 complete innings. Owned them with the drop ball, owned them low and away, especially against lefties. And now Spearman stepping in. She came in defensively just 2 innings ago, now gets her first at bat.
Just past the top of the hour here in Lubbock. Miller Thiessen, Tiffany Green here with you. First of 3 games here from Tracy Sellers Field. We'll see Boston University and Marist coming up next. But once again, a pivotal moment in this game. We saw Boyer get out of it last inning, and with Desiree Spearman down to the count 0-2, she's just got to work to stay alive. Protect the plate. You see what she's done with runners in scoring position this season. 438, 7 RBI. Does she go around? No, she doesn't. Now it's 1-2.
Just holds back. Really nice control of those hands.
And pops it up into shallow right field, and once again Boyer able to get out of it. Texas Tech still trailing by 4. Ole Miss looking strong. And Ole Miss trying to advance to the regional final tomorrow, seeking their 9th regional final. Produced 8 hits, 4 runs. Put up a run back in the first, and then 3 more in the 4th, which is how we got here.
It all started with the very first hitter of this game. Kennedy Bunker homered off of Nyjah Kennedy back in the first inning. Feels like that was so long ago. So much offense and ball has happened since the first inning. But to your point, that's what started the offensive party for Ole Miss.
And again, we've seen the productivity now in the second game from Ole Miss. The different batters who have come up with hits. We saw already today as Sam Lincoln gets Pickens, who was out in front of that one. 3rd strikeout swinging for Sam Lincoln.
This off speed actually was left elevated too. Should be absolutely mashed if Mackenzie Pickens is on time with it. So nice break there for Lincoln. And if you're Lincoln in the circle, your job, you've got one job right now, and that is to get this team back in the dugout as quickly as possible. 3 quick outs, work with some rhythm in the circle, generate some type of spark for these bats to pour some gas on.
Percy Yamas, who's picked up a base hit as well. Going to go back to the dugout as Jamie Traxel had a discussion with the home plate umpire, and it looks like Pickens is returning to the box.
Potentially some form of an illegal pitch is my assumption. See Tara Archibald also coming out of the dugout, confirming the count.
So now that erases what would be the first out of the inning. And let's take another look here.
Well, you could see Lincoln kind of rolling the hand, trying to speed up the pitch call. I think in that specific instance, it was the action clock. I think ran out of time before that pitch was thrown.
A tough break for the Red Raiders as the sophomore Lincoln steps back to the rubber. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pickens delivers it out of the park over the left field wall. Touches the trees. Some insurance there for Ole Miss. Well, how about Mackenzie Pickens, who has found her rhythm here in Lubbock? Had a solo shot yesterday, and another one this afternoon. So the redo goes in favor of the Rebels.
Sometimes our game is just so ironic. When she gets another life and absolutely makes the most of it. Stepping into this pitch, this is low in the zone, extends the barrel, pull side, absolute mash. And an exclamation point on what feels like an already outstanding offensive evening for the Rebels.
11th home run of the season for Mackenzie Pickens, continuing to add to that program record as Spearman kind of cuts it and gets Yamas at first base. And so we're getting word as to why Pickens returned to the plate. There was an issue with not re-entering Jazzy Burns, the catcher, properly into this game. And so that provided another chance for Ole Miss. We can't talk about the home run power and production for Ole Miss this season without mentioning Maddie George, 22 in her first year in Oxford. And again, this was a group who hit 67 last year. They surpassed that mark this season with now 84 home runs. And so you look at the scoring, folks, of how Ole Miss got to this point. It was a solo home run from Kennedy Bunker to start off this game back in the first. Then the pinch hit 3-run shot from Rachel Connors made it 4-0. And then the addition there from Mackenzie Pickens. George awaits the 1-2 pitch. Just right now, a quiet crowd here as Texas Tech will have 3 outs on the other side to try to come back in this one. If not, they will be in an elimination game in our final game of the night if the score sticks. George pulls that one foul down the first base line.
George still looking for her first hit of the game. Couple flyouts and a K. See the deep breaths, a lot of bragging rights and props that head coach Jamie Traxel gave this freshman bat. Very mature at the plate through her freshman year, has been riding the highs and lows with a lot of level-headedness. I could not say the same for myself in my freshman season, so props to Maddie George.
It takes everybody some time.
It took me a little time.
Get acclimated. Speed, caught her looking. George is retired. Backwards K for Samantha Lincoln, her 3rd of the game.
You could hear the Ole Miss dugout picking that pitch. yelling sit as this was coming around the horn out of the hand of Lincoln. But regardless of picking that pitch, Maddie George not ready for it and takes that changeup right over the wide of the plate.
Cassie Reesner, first pitch swinging up the hole in the middle, and the 2-out single for Reesner, her first base hit of this regional.
Too, understanding that Lincoln being a lefty, that Ole Miss dugout can see right into the glove, the pitch grip of Lincoln. They've got a full look of that windup. You see Tara Archibald coming out. This may be part of that conversation, is you're hearing an Ole Miss dugout pick pitches, picking speeds, and giving that information in real time to these Ole Miss hitters.
Just a reminder to our viewers, you'll see South Carolina and UCLA after this game is complete. Action already underway in the Los Angeles Regional. It's currently over on ESPN News. We mentioned last year, South Carolina just 1 out away from going to the Women's College World Series, but UCLA spoiled that party in Columbia. They face off again, this time in regional play. Lana Applewhite takes that pitch for strike 2. 0-2 now to the junior. Applin drives this one down the line and foul.
Some of my favorite parts of playing softball was the game within the game, picking pitches, tipping pitches, communicating, that inside communication within our sport sometimes can be the difference.
That one bounces off the backstop in the net. Burns gets it as Reesner stays put at first. See the additional shading there for the Ole Miss dugout. Yeah. Is this hot? It's real hot.
You can definitely see it there. Smart work, savvy work over there, providing a little extra shade.
It's well into the 90s, approaching 100 here in Lubbock. The 1-2, high for ball 2. And Lincoln, the approach, delivers. And this one hits Applin in the head. And she runs to first base, so Applin hit by the pitch now, 2 on, 2 out. Good chance to let you know that you don't want to miss a moment of the action of the NCAA softball regionals. You can always check out 7 Innings live on the ESPN app. See everything, every pitch, every game on the road to the Women's College World Series on our ESPN networks. And Jamie Traxel electing to go to her bench once again. Taylor Roman going to come in as the pinch hitter, the senior out of Missouri City, Texas, in that Houston area. As Applin, after being hit in the head by the pitch, appears to be okay. Gets the helmet back on. And she's ready to go. I think they have to switch the helmets there. It's Hope Jenkins' helmet that she has to wear now. So from 26 to 16 on the helmet. She's at first, Reisner at second after that single, and Taylor Roman at the plate.
Another senior for this Ole Miss squad.
Again, she came into that super regional against Arkansas and came up with a game time pinch hit, 2-run double. During her time in Fayetteville, and reliable back for Traxel to be able to call on, because you want as many runs as possible to make you feel comfortable understanding that this is a Texas Tech team that can unload at any time. They average 9.5 runs a game, so
Track's already looking like a genius. The pinch hit, 3-run shot with Rachel Connors. She calls on senior Taylor Roman here. 95 at-bats and 7 home runs.
The 1-2. Roman drops it high, back and out of play. For ball 2.
I'm even hearing Bobby Buchanan standing in that first base coaching box, or what he was in the first base coaching box. He's trickled back into the dugout. That's who I'm hearing. Him yelling, sit.
Got to sit on that one. A bloop single in front as Holloman was slow to play it. And Reisner comes across. Taylor Roman with an RBI. Off the bench again, the pinch hitters have come up big for Ole Miss, and one more run tacked on for the Rebels.
Trying to understand, too, Holloman in left field, very tentative on this swing. Powerful cut from the pinch hitter, Taylor Roman. And take a look at the hesitancy. She kind of holds up, second guesses her ability to catch this ball, and then absolutely airmails to Jazzy Burns at home plate.
Ruling that in error on Holloman. As former outfielder yourself, you know full well they changed it to a single. So correction there, Taylor Roman with the RBI, and this one hit into the gap, and more runs come across, 2 more as Ryan Starr is one of the stars in this show, in this ball game for Ole Miss. And this crew out of Oxford just taking it to Tech.
Keep in mind, Ryan Starr was who Rachel Connors pinch hit for with the 3-run bomb. So Starr getting her opportunity here and says, look at me, I got a little bit of noise to make too. A 2-run double off the wall, that right field gap.
And the celebration for Ryan Starr, who drove in her first 2 runs of the season. And coming up with a timely hit to tack on more. We already saw Florida State and Duke go down as the top 16 national seeds. Florida State back in action again against Stetson in an elimination game. Seminoles up 2-0 in that one. And the soft chopper here. Are they going to say it's a foul ball? So Malvin will come back to the box. And we can't hit this enough in terms of how you get out to a quick start. 89%. You know, the teams starting out 2-0 advance to supers. And Jamie Traxel's crew has just come in here. Red hot. Has to throw over the first, and that ends the inning, but not before Ole Miss hangs up a 4th spot down to their final 3 outs for the Red Raiders. Emily Boyer has shined on this bright stage this afternoon. 2 hits only allowed by Boyer. She was the Division II National Player of the Year, and you see how she stacked up against last year's D1 National Pitcher of the Year.
Her ability to cut off low in the zone, that drop balls looked so good, and the defense behind her has given the support she needed to really shine against one of the most potent offenses in the nation.
Yeah, and she's upstage, a superstar in the game, and Nigeri Kennedy here this afternoon, spoiling the start for Kennedy as Ole Miss has Texas Tech hopeful that they can find any form of a rally here to try to take some momentum into the elimination game if the Rebels are able to hold on. This offense, who averages 9.5 runs a game, 3rd best in the nation, has been shut out. Lauren Allred leading it off here. And Ryan Starr had a tough one at the hot corner. Bounces off the bag and her glove. And the leadoff base hit for the Red Raiders. Just a 3rd of the afternoon.
Finding no man's land, and this is exactly what the doctor ordered if you're Texas Tech. Setting the table, continuing to pass the bat, and trying to roll this thing over to the top of the lineup.
Logan Holloman swings through that one. And we've got 2 elimination games coming up with BU and Marist on the way. We'll be joining the action of South Carolina and UCLA after this one concludes. The only thing on Emily Boyer's mind is just to get 3 outs, close out this game, and get some rest heading into tomorrow's regional final. Into the glove of Reesner and 1 away. Lined out to short, and that'll take us back to the top of the order with Maya Davis.
Davis had that blistering double back in the 5th inning that I thought was going to be a stand-up single, but her aggressiveness on the base paths proved me wrong. 36 stolen bases on the year. Such a threat with that speed.
She was able to break through to deliver the first hit off of Boyer. Jazzy Burns and Allred, who's standing at first with alone 3 hits for this Texas Tech offense. And again, so much credit belonging to Boyer to come in to this situation. She had 2 1/3 innings yesterday to close out Boston University. And here, striking out Maya Davis, so 1 out away from her first ever win in an NCAA Division I softball regional.
It's a 3rd K for Davis. Boyer has just had her number. Low and away, that has been the chase pitch for lefties all game long. They have not been able to lay off that location.
And it's down to Caitlin Terry. Terry, 0 for 3 this afternoon. Runner on first, 2 outs, and fouled back. Well, since the first inning, Ole Miss came out swinging. And then by the 4th, upset alert was on.
Looks like that maybe broke the plane.
Second most runs allowed this season by this Texas Tech pitching staff. You have to go back to March when they faced off against Arizona and gave up 9 runs. And now on the verge of being shut out here. Last time that happened, April 15th against Texas State. We saw the Bobcats pick up a win in the NCAA tournament already today.
Well, going back to the beginning of this game, Ole Miss scoring first. This is a team that's 27-9 when hopping on the board early, and a team that's 24-0 when they lead after the 6th inning. So odds are looking pretty good for Ole Miss.
And just taking their time. Again, Kennedy Bunker and Boyer have had a really nice connection. This battery for Ole Miss have worked really well together. Down to the final strike and final out of this game.
And Terry still hitless as well. A couple flyouts, a ground out. This is a top 10 finalist for National Player of the Year, searching for her first base hit today here in day 2.
That one just past Bunker, and so advancing to second is Allred. She's in scoring position. Payoff. And that one into right field, and not being shut out says Texas Tech. They get their first run of the game. Caitlin Terry with her first hit of the game. So the 2-out single to right, and the Red Raiders still have life.
This swing just feels like a little bit of pride, right? It's like, hey, we are better than this. And yes, we got 8 runs we got to put up on the board, but at least let's not just get shut out. Let's at least scratch across the board here, run. And Terry getting the job done with 2 outs. She does get her first base hit of the game.
Liss with a couple of walks in this one. The pitch, she sends that one flying into center field. It's out of here. A two-run shot. Little wind-aided home run. Jackie Liss puts up two more. It's now 8-3.
Ticking time bomb, right? It was a matter of time before Texas started to figure some things out. The question is it too little too late? With 2 outs on the board, Liss finding this in the deepest part of the field, dead center, exits the ball yard in a hurry. That gives way for Jazzy Burns to step in. There really should be no panic here, right? If you're Boyle in the circle, you got 2 outs, you still got a 5-run lead. Nothing changes for you right now on the mound.
And this one gets through the 5-6 hole. A diving Ryan Starr couldn't stop it. And this is all happening with 2 outs. Remember, it was Lauren Allred who started off the inning with a single. Came around to score thanks to Caitlin Terry. And then the 2-run shot from Jackie Liss. And finally the hits starting to pile up for the Red Raiders. But is it too late? As you mentioned,
Williams also hitless. Fly out, a ground out, a walk. This is a 22 home run bat. The meat of this order for Tech.
This one out of the glove of Starr. And Jazzy Burns at third, Williams at first, runners at the corners, 2 outs. And the Red Raiders not done yet. You know, Aaron, we saw this yesterday too with the Rebels having a tough time closing out Boston University. They came up with a late rally as well. Just held off, and it was the defense who came through, taking advantage of the careless base running from the Terriers, ended that game in a double play. That one low in the dirt for ball 1 to Taylor Panel. Activity in the bullpen with Kyra Aycock getting ready just if needed, and again pulling it once more. Another run driven in, and now cutting the lead in half after the RBI single from Taylor Panel.
This has just been a pass the bat mentality for Texas Tech, which I can appreciate. A team that hits a lot of home runs, it's easy to get into the box right here and want to be the hero, taking the biggest hacks that you possibly can, and right now making the focus smaller, decreasing the size of the game. These are really fundamental swings, hard contact swings, and they have just been peppering the ball through the infield, and it's worked.
And a circle visit once again, the entire infield in, and understanding just 1 out to get, but those final 3 outs, it can be really challenging, Aaron.
Hardest 3. And right now it's the hardest 1, right? Yeah. There's 2 outs on the board. This has been such a deep rally here for Texas Tech, who's been silent. I mean, very well controlled at the plate by Emily Boyle all game. Boyer, excuse me.
Again, 2 teams who made it to the Women's College World Series for the first time ever in program history a season ago. They meet for the first time since that opening round game in OKC. And after this game was controlled by the excellent pitching from Emily Boyer, the defense for the Rebels, the bats getting hot and putting up 8 runs coming into the inning. After being shut out, the Red Raiders now trying to surge here late and come through with a comeback. The 9th batter that Boyer will face here is Desiree Spearman. Ninth batter this inning is Spearman. Spearman takes that one outside for ball one. Low in the dirt for ball two. Texas Tech looking for their second ever regional final. It'll be the ninth for Ole Miss.
Reminder, the walks have been the Achilles heel for Ole Miss's pitching staff this entire year. Came into today with 89 walks on the year for Boyer.
That one called for a strike as Spearman tossed the bat confidently, thinking that that was ball four.
I mean, can I say that that pitch has been called a ball all game?
Yep. Incredibly tight strike zone here. That one inside, and that's ball four. So now that loads the bases, and how this inning started was Lauren Allred and a single. Now she's got an opportunity to tie up this ball game.
Look at the location of this pitch. Again, you and I have kind of been scratching our heads on the strike zone at times through this whole ball game.
Lauren Allred gets a home run pitch. Oh my goodness! Grand slam! Can you believe it, folks? Down 8 runs, down to their final out.
Full body chills. I mean, this is postseason. This is Texas Tech. A ticking time bomb. You've heard me say it all game long. It was a matter of time before Texas Tech unloaded at the plate with their backs against the wall, Tiffany, down to a final strike. Wow.
They needed Lauren Allred to get going in this postseason if they wanted to make another deep run, because top to bottom, this is such a filthy, talented lineup. And Texas Tech, when it looked like all was lost and nothing could go their way, came alive with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
The first 6 innings of this game, Tiffany, Texas Tech had 2 hits. They were shut out. Come into this inning, 7 hits, 8 runs, and now have a potential to walk this game off, to punch their ticket into the regional finals. This is postseason, folks. This is mayhem. This is a team that played for a national championship just last season. They reloaded in the portal. What did they need? Offensive support. Well, they got it.
Longi Quiroga comes in as the pinch hitter, one of those players that they picked up in the portal. He's a first-team All-ACC selection last season at Cal. An unbelievable turn of events, folks. This Red Raider team, one of the best offenses in the nation, has helped to engineer an amazing comeback here in the bottom of the 7th. And fans on their feet here, ready for the magic to continue with a walk-off in their sights. Look at that, first 2 innings, 2 hits, and this inning alone, 7 hits and all 8 runs for the 11 seed. We talk about all this momentum for Texas Tech, but how deflating is this if you're Ole Miss? You couldn't have asked for a better ball game put together up to this point.
And you hurt a little bit for Boyer. This one overthrown by Bunker. The toss back to Boyer in the circle. I mean, you and I could debate up here about potentially the decision to leave her in that bases loaded situation. She's thrown almost 7 full innings, and you and I bragged on her all game because she's been worthy of it. The drop ball has been money. She's had stellar defense behind her. All up until this last out, Tiffany, it has been the hardest out for her to get. When you're facing a team like Texas Tech, who's seen you now 3 times through, going on 4, it is a matter of time before they make an adjustment, and they've made probably the biggest adjustment of their season with their back against the wall here.
And Kyra Aycock coming in as the game tied, as Emily Boyer, who did an outstanding job today, just got hit around, but this hit none bigger than the one off the bat of Lauren Allred to get this place hopping.
Look at the dugout. I mean, you just live for these moments. And having felt those types of moments myself as a player in this sport, at this level, on this stage, you can't put words to it. I mean, I had goosebumps up here in the booth. You dream of these moments, back against the wall, everything on the line, and Texas Tech figuring out a way to get it done.
Their second ever time hosting a regional, and certainly they gave fans already here this afternoon a whole lot to hold their breath on, and then a whole bunch to cheer about as we're tied at 8. Look at this. Unbelievable. Since 2000, 640 teams that have trailed by 8 runs or more has never come back to win in NCAA tournament history.
Wow. Shout out to the statistician that dug that one up. That's a heck of a stat right there.
My goodness. So after 159 pitches from Emily Boyer in more than 4 innings of work of no-hit softball, Kyra Aycock steps in the circle to try to extend this game, and gloved by Aycock, tossed over the first. She does the job as we move to extra innings. But folks, if you're just tuning in at the right time, get ready for what could be an unreal finish. That gets our girl Nigeria Kennedy, the $1 million arm, back in the circle for the Red Raiders. She started off this game not the way she would have wanted it to, but guess what? It's like it's 0-0 on the board as she will get moving in extra innings. This was her line from earlier. Gave up 5 hits, 4 runs in 4 innings of work. So Kennedy now trying to slow down this Ole Miss offense that I'm very curious to see how they respond in this situation.
You know Nyjah Kennedy wanted this moment. You know it. Her offense figures out a way to put it together in the bottom of the 7th inning, and you know she is chomping at the bit to get that ball back in her hands. You mentioned getting hit hard in the first inning. She gave up a bomb, 2 back-to-back singles. Immediately Sam Lincoln coming in after the first inning. Nobody that Texas Tech would rather have than to have a response right here to Nyjah Kennedy.
And Aaron, we saw it at the beginning of the game. The tailgate scene was great. Fans lined up, ready to come in and watch. Big Mo was absent from the Red Raiders fans. And then all of a sudden, that momentum has shifted back to this Wreckham crew.
And at times, you and I are looking at each other like, man, this stadium is so quiet. Well, my, how the tables have turned.
Interesting rematch from the first batter that Kennedy faced, and Kennedy Bunker, you mentioned that solo home run to start off the game. It's the first Ole Miss hitter she will see in the top of the 8th.
Well, there's been 3 home run hitters for Ole Miss this game. One of those standing in the box, one of those standing on deck.
Nyjah Kennedy behind the count, 3 balls and no strikes to Bunker. Taking all the way for that strike. We came on the air talking about just how well Ole Miss has used that long ball this season, a program best in terms of power out of the park. And this one pulled to right field and a leadoff base hit for Kennedy Bunker. In this regional alone, averaging nearly 1.5 home runs per game. That's 3rd best when you look at all the 16 regional sites behind Norman and Los Angeles regionals. So a pinch runner over at first for Ole Miss is Rediger, the freshman. And look at the afternoon that Mackenzie Pickens has had. 3 for 4 on the day, a couple of singles, and that solo home run last inning. And this time trying to do a little small ball action, lays down the sac bunt well. And Rediger advances into scoring position.
Playing for a run. His first sac bunt we've seen from Ole Miss. I'm one of those traditionalists when it comes to the short game, especially at this point in the season. At this point in the game, you have to be able to execute the sacrifice bunt. Pickens does it there.
Yamas from the left side. Percy Yamas, the sophomore. Keeping it away from her there for ball 1. And folks, we've been talking about it all afternoon long. I think it's one of those buzz topics around the tournament this weekend is the tight strike zones that we have seen all across the country. Yamas lays into that one, and this one, they're going to try to bring home the runner, and Rediger gets the go-ahead run. The RBI single from Percy Yamas, and Ole Miss is back on top.
You got to tip your cap to the fundamental offense of Ole Miss right now, especially against one of the most feared arms in our game, Nyjah Kennedy. This is a screwball. It's working away from Yamas. She goes up the middle of the field for this RBI single. I have to go back to the importance of the bunt, too, by Mackenzie Pickens. Without that sacrifice bunt to put Bunker in scoring position, that run doesn't score.
Excellent point. So Percy Yamas comes through, delivers with another RBI. That's her 41st on the season. We saw Jerry Glasgow take a quick trip to the circle to make sure Kennedy is all good. 7 hits already off the two-time All-American since she's been in the ball game to start this game, and now coming in once more, re-entering here in the 8th inning. And George sends this one into foul territory, right field line. Getting to it is Terry, and it's 2 away. What a fun game this has been. I just keep going back and reflecting because if you're an Ole Miss fan, you were watching, you were like, okay, all right, down to the final strike.
Yeah.
All good. No, 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 says third best offense in the nation. With their backs against the wall, they came back, responded, and then here in the top of the 8th, Ole Miss answering, providing themselves a run of separation, and so here we go to the bottom of the 8th, and what is left in the backs of the Red Raiders? Find out when we come back. The Lubbock Regional has been insane on just the first game of day 2. Ole Miss led by 8 runs entering last inning, and then a surge from the Red Raiders, including a grand slam, second of the career for Lauren Allred to tie it up at 8 apiece. Top half of the inning, Ole Miss tacked on an insurance run, and now Kyra Aycock will try to close out, be given the duties of trying to retire 2, 3, and 4 in this Red Raider lineup. Aaron Miller, Thiessen, Tiffany Green here with you. These two teams met in the opening game of the Women's College World Series last year, both making historic runs, their first ever Women's College World Series appearance. And each of these teams, just like the field of 64, hungry for an opportunity to get to Devon Park. Caitlin Terry leading it off here for the Red Raiders. An area for the national runners-up from a season ago in Texas Tech. You mentioned it earlier, Aaron, trying to make sure that they loaded up more offensively so that they could find themselves in the best position to support their dominant pitching, led by Nyjah Kennedy, and Caitlin Terry has come in as an outstanding arm, along with being an offensive leader.
She really was a spark starter, I feel like, in the 7th inning. Got that first base hit of the game, now 1 for 4.
And now she leads it off here with a walk. It was a storyline that we were interested in coming into this game because it's been such a challenge for this Ole Miss pitching staff, a brand new staff from last year's Women's College World Series team. Kyra Aycock, along with Emily Boyer, Hope Jenkins, a lot of new faces in there. And walks were limited. There was not much damage done, but here, leadoff batter aboard, Jackie Liss at the plate.
Aycock struggled to find the zone yesterday in game 1. Gave up 3 walks only through 3rd inning. Gave up 2 runs.
The 2-0 to Liss. Low in the dirt for ball 3. Another trip to the circle from Nancy Evans is just trying to place strikes here as Kyra Aycock is still looking for her first after 7 straight balls. All right, so here's how we got to this point. Oh yeah, it was Lauren Allred. The Grand Slam. First pitch, no doubter as it left the bat to tie up this ball game. We move to the top half of the inning. Percy Yamas putting Ole Miss back on top, one of the top producers for the Rebels. And that's how we find ourselves at this juncture, a 9-8 advantage for Ole Miss, trying to upset the 11 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders. Right now, the energy feeling a lot different here at Tracy Sellers Field. The 9th walk of the game given up by the Ole Miss pitching staff. So now 2 on, no outs, and Jazzy Burns is the next batter due up.
And it looks like Ole Miss is prepped to make a pitching change here.
We saw Lily Witten come in and do a nice job against Boston University yesterday. And so now she will come in and have the tall task of trying to slow down the Red Raiders. Again, this is just the first of 3 games, so we've got plenty more coming your way. One of 2 elimination games coming up next between Marist and Boston University, as we will see teams whittle down to 32 by the end of the day. Regional final is set for 4 Eastern tomorrow, and if necessary, game will be on deck if needed.
Lily Witten stepping in. This is, as a reminder, an entirely new pitching staff for Ole Miss, trying to hold down a 1-run lead. You got to bring up this stat, right? Since 2000, 640 teams have trailed by 8 runs, and no team has ever had that comeback win. It's a wild stat.
Yeah. It's jaw-dropping. And so now if you're Lily Witten, you inherit 2 runners with no outs. And the junior will face off against Jazzy Burns first. And you know the Red Raiders, after that energy from the last inning, will walk it off. We saw 6 walk-offs in the opening day. Mississippi State walked off St. Mary's in the Eugene Regional. Kansas shocking Michigan in extra innings and walk-off action. But Wallace was the hero for Jayhawks.
Well, this is a much different arm, too, than Texas Tech has faced out of Boyer and Aycock, who both live low in the zone, that drop ball. So now you're going to face Witten, who's an up-ball pitcher. Rise right at the letters. Saw a little bit of an off-speed from her yesterday, late in counts, but didn't really develop that pitch until late innings.
Jasmine Burns at the plate, couple of singles today from the Ohio State transfer. Again, she was a record breaker with the Buckeyes in her sophomore season. The home run power and the slugging percentage, single season records a season ago. Here late in this game, just trying to search for the strike zone. As we've seen a few pitchers now try to do so. This one opposite field and foul. Burns, who extends her hitting streak to 13. Those two singles earlier today. She's been one of those hot bats coming in. Remember, she had that grand slam against Baylor in the regular season finale.
She's at her best with runners on, hitting .429 with 2 on base. 4 home runs in this situation.
And just waiting on that one and delivering the game-tying run is Jazzy Burns. Burns keeps on delivering, producing the RBI single needed. That scores Terry with that leadoff walk. She comes around to score after this hit.
Notice the back knee. Burns drops the back knee to get this ball low in the zone. Witten pulling a little bit of mile per hour off of the release of that pitch, but Burns is on time, and she is money. Such a clutch bat at the plate for Texas Tech.
Well, speaking of clutch, here's Mia Williams, a chance to walk it off here in the bottom of the 8th. She had a key hit in her last experience in postseason play when she was with the Florida Gators. Lead them to the Women's College World Series and make an appearance, and winner of this one will go on to face the Gainesville Regional, and this one off the bat of Mia Williams is deep enough. That's going to allow a runner to tag and move 60 feet closer to home. So Jackie List now 60 feet away from scoring the game-tying or game-winning run. And now it's Taylor Panel's turn. Panel this season, who has knocked in 51 runs, double-digit homers.
At 10 home runs on the year. Well, 77 of those have been with runners on base. She's good all the time, but she's really good with ducks on the pond.
Chance of Raider power, get into it, Panel, the RBI, set fly, and the Rain Runners comeback is complete. Never done before. 640 teams have tried since 2000 to come back from 8 runs or more, and Texas Tech, the first team to do so. They advance to the regional final.
Tiff, I don't know that you can really put words to what we just witnessed. This offensive feat late in the game, from the 8-inning bottom of the 7th inning, to the fundamental pass-the-bat offense here to score 2 runs for the walk-off when Texas Tech found a way with their back against the wall. And how about the support for Nyjah Kennedy, who struggled early in this game? They had an answer for her.
That graphic bears repeating. First team since 2000 with a comeback win after trailing by 8 runs or more. 640 teams have tried before, but were unsuccessful until now. The 11 seed Texas Tech advances on to the regional final, staving off an upset here from Ole Miss, who will have to play in an elimination game later tonight with Marist and Boston University on deck. And the hero of this game,
good job,
Taylor Pano, coming through with the RBI sac fly to walk it off for the Red Raiders. Girl, take your moment. This is great shine for you all.
Don't mess up my hair, please.
Oh, and she says, wait a minute, be conscious of the hair. Okay, Taylor, so walk us through, because you're watching on in the dugout and seeing that you're down by 8 runs, down to the final strike in this game. What got into the Red Raiders to offer that amazing comeback?
Honestly, it was just, we came in and I was like, we have nothing to lose. And honestly, we were just going up there battling for each other and just having fun. I think that's the most fun we had all season. We just love each other so much, and we were just having a blast. And we wanted to do it for our pitchers.
Take me back to the 7th inning. You guys put 8 runs on the board after almost getting shut out. What happened offensively for you guys to turn it on?
I think it was a nothing-to-lose mentality. Coach Glasgow says best comeback team, and we haven't been able to do that much. When we come down, normally it's been a shutout, so we're just like, let's not get shut out again, and let's just pass the bat. And I think everyone was just having a blast. The crowd was having a blast, and it was just giving us momentum.
Thanks so much, Taylor. We appreciate the time, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayhem is here. In case you needed any reminder, this phenomenal comeback for Texas Tech was amazing. A 10-9 walk-off for Aaron Miller Thiessen. I'm Tiffany Green. Now let's send it out to Los Angeles.